Good morning, everyone. It's Lee Henson, President and Founder of AgileDad, and it's time for today's episode of the Daily Stand-Up. So without any further ado, let's get started. Today, I wanted to talk to you about building trust in teams. And I think the first question that comes to my mind is, in order for you to understand trust, you need to decide who you do trust. So I like to pose the question to people who are trying to figure out trust within a team by asking them, who do you trust now? Is it a pastor or someone from a faith-based avenue? Is it your partner, your spouse? Is it your family, your friends? Hopefully your friends. Um, how about your boss? What about your coworker? Those are a little bit harder to say, right? But I think that when you identify someone that you do trust, it's going to help you understand better how to know and trust your teams. And I think it all starts by defining what matters. And when you start talking about who you're spending time with and why, it brings an interesting light and a perspective. It's beckoning you to ask questions like, why are we bothering spending time with people that we don't trust? Or what should we be doing to build relationships that really matter with people that we do trust? And I think the first step is to clearly define what trust is. So, one of the patterns that I have at home with my kids is oftentimes when I'm trying to define something that's difficult, I'll ask them to define what it's not. So, in this case, what is not trust, or what trust is not, right? And in this case, I think the term that people most often equate trust with is likability or relationship building. And when you say, oh, this is a nice person, or they're a good person, or those kind of things, this is the kind of person I want to hang out with on the weekends, but do you trust them? And I think that likability is only part of the equation, right? Just because someone's a nice person or someone you want to hang out with doesn't mean they're a trustworthy person. So if you, here, take this as an exercise. This will be easy. Consider someone in your company that you really don't trust. You might really like this person. This person might be genuine and they're trying their best. But would you trust that person with a high profile initiative? Would you trust them working on one of your biggest products or projects? You hesitated, right? It's not because this person isn't trying their hardest. It's just they haven't shown a proven track record that makes you feel confident investing in them. So you have to ask yourself, why did you feel that way? Well, you didn't award this person a giant project because honestly, you just don't feel like you can trust that person enough to take it to the finish line. So even though they're a great person, you like them, it's not always easy to get to that point. So if you want someone to trust you, it's not enough just that they like you. They need to know that you have good intentions and they need to know that you can finish and follow through with what you say you're going to do. Likewise, if you think someone's a good person, but you don't trust them to actually get work done, you're not going to give them work. You need both, right? I hear many times in relationships, especially between parents and children, where parents try to be their child's friend more than they do their mentor. And I think that it's a crime, right? I think it's sad because I think that while children definitely need friends, don't get me wrong, I think that parents need to assume a different set of responsibilities. I think the same is true at work. It's okay for you to be friendly with your peers, but not necessarily to be friends, especially if you're trying to build relationships of trust with them. I think that if you can just internalize that trust and likability aren't the same, it's going to keep you out of the trap of just saying, oh, I like that person, so that must mean I can trust them. If you want to build trust, do the things you say and say the things you do, and you're going to build trust. And I think that this focuses on things like intentions and behavior. So now that we're talking about what trust isn't, let's talk about what trust is. So, in short, trust is two things. It's intentions and behavior. It's the perception, right, of who you are and what they expect you to do. So when people look at you, Covey has this book. What is it? Speed of Trust, I think. Yeah, that's it. Speed of Trust. It's talking about someone's belief in your abilities or capabilities and your character as a whole, right? And the four cores that he discusses are integrity, intent, capabilities, and result. Let's go through each one. So, integrity. Integrity is all about being honest, walking the talk, being congruent with what you believe, right? Standing up for what you believe. You can't trust someone unless you believe they have integrity. Interesting. When someone's assessing your integrity, are they wondering, do you have values that I align with? Are you a good person? So, being likable and being a good person don't necessarily always align, but being a good person and having integrity do align. Okay, so there you go. So that makes a lot more sense, right? The second one is intent. This could be your agenda, your mission. Your teams need to trust your intent before they can trust you. I'm going to say it one more time. Your teams need to trust your intent before they trust you. Are you thinking about yourself first, or are you putting others first in a situation? Do you have a short-term or long-term goal in mind? What is your intent behind what you're trying to do? And I think that your intent leads to your will, right? Next is capabilities. These are your talents, attitudes, skills, gifts, knowledge. When someone's determining whether or not they trust you, they often consider, does this person have the expertise to do the job as well as they say they can? Are they capable of getting the job done? Interesting. And the funny thing about this is the word capable is most commonly used by leaders, managers, because they're trying to measure capabilities to make sure they're the right person doing the job. And then finally, results. This is your track record, your performance. If you have a track record of never successfully finishing the things you say you're going to do, people aren't going to trust you. Just throwing it out there, right? What has this person done to prove that I can trust him or her? And you need to seek those results. And I think that those are all keys that are incredibly important. Those are the four cores. The other piece of this has to do with warmth and competence, right? And this is where you start looking at people and saying, people who are perceived to be warm are usually those people who understand and have empathy. People who are competent have certain body language, certain affirming words, generous action, sometimes even a smile that shows you that this person can project that they are competent and confident through body language, that they are good with what they're being asked to do. And their past track record proves it. So I think that sometimes you need to look beyond what you currently believe and understand that trust is all about who people think you are, your warmth, and what they think you can do, your competence. And if they know that you're a warm person, you can get things done, you're well on your way to being successful. Whether you're trying to be an agile coach, a scrum master, or whether you're just trying to walk the walk of life. I think the key here is to understand teams and to understand their capabilities, but also to understand that if you're trying to build trust, that you need to base it on some sound principles. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. As always, we encourage you to stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friends. Until next time, do take care. We'll see you soon.